Yeah, he was the right choice because he's not going to win next week in Cincinnati, and that's completely okay. Like he's kind of this tweener right now where he's kind of a baby face, and I like the promo that he ended up cutting against Mox, but I think Mox is going to be pretty much cheered in his hometown of Cincinnati next week when they're there for that. I think they're going to put on a good match. I think that's going to be somebody who is getting a little bit of a rub for finally winning something, finally winning a match, which is not something that we typically see from Powerhouse Hobbs or the Murder Hawk Monster or Brian Cage or insert big man from AEW here. So the
Brian
fact that he
Cage
gets
versus
that
Kenny next week, so maybe that'll be Brian's big moment.
tough for Cage, tough. So yeah, I think that's a situation where you don't want him. He's going to eat the pin, and it's not going to be that big of a deal because later in the show you've got Cope cutting a promo about getting his hands on Mox. So even Cope isn't taking, which is always tough, right? Like you got somebody, what the next match is going to be, and yet you got to pretend like the first one matters. I think it's good for Powerhouse. I think he was really showcased well. I think that match was fantastic in terms of the way everybody was able to be showcased last night. Ultimately, I think he's the right choice because it doesn't make sense to have Mox go up against Hangman Page or Jay White, or any of those other guys that were in there. It makes the most sense for somebody where it's not going to affect him all that much. And I think that's where Powerhouse is.
Yeah, and I wish AEW did more of this. I wish they took those opportunities to be different and say, yeah, we're going to have a world title match on TV. Because the few times they've done it, when you know the result going in, we knew Hook wasn't going to beat Joe. We knew, was it Garcia? Or no, it was Ricky Starks. We knew he wasn't going to beat MJF, but we got a hell of a match. And those two delivered, and it was a good opportunity for those two. Ultimately, because it's AEW, the follow-up doesn't always match the actual moment, but this can be a great opportunity for Hobbs in the main event. You do a few near falls where you say, well, maybe this is going to happen, even though it's not. And I think looking at everyone that was in that match, and it was star-studded, this was the right opportunity. When he came out, it was one of those light bulbs that were like, oh, this is who needs to win. Like, I didn't think about him beforehand. Then once it came out, I was like, this is who they need to go with. They did, and I think we're going to get a great main event next week.